Well, I mean, my life and work have been kind of schizophrenic. A part of it is what we've just been talking about. The other part is in linguistics, philosophy, cognitive science. That part is intellectually interesting and challenging. The first part is not very challenging intellectually. I think what is understood about the world is pretty much on the surface. We don't have far-reaching, significant theories with explanatory force about the kinds of topics we were talking about. It's mainly a matter of just looking at the phenomena honestly with an open mind and without ideological blinders, and then I think things pretty much fall into place, not without disagreement and controversy, but without any particular intellectual depth. On the other hand, the other aspect does have a lot of intellectual depth, and there are real questions, very significant questions, about what kind of creatures human beings are. We're radically different from everything else in the biological world. I mean, that's obvious in innumerable ways. And it's a good case can be made that the core of the difference is actually language. And language has very mysterious properties, which are not understood. There's a long tradition puzzling about them. They're just as puzzling as they were in the past. We may never have an answer to them. The main problem, I mean, there are a lot of problems about the nature of language, its origins and so on, but the fundamental problem is about voluntary action. How can we, for Descartes, say this was a huge, crucial issue, is sort of the source of a lot of his dualism and theory of mind. How can human beings have the capacity to freely use an infinite, unbounded number of expressions in an innovative way, new ones, which are appropriate to circumstances but not caused by them, which is a huge difference, and which are intelligible to others who can recognize that they could have, it evokes thoughts that they could have expressed the same way, sometimes called creative aspect of language use. Where does this come from? And it's actually a special case of something more general, voluntary action. And that's just not understood. There's a recent review of the topic by two leading scientists, Emilio Bizzi, Robert Agyeman, which reviews the state of the art, and they put it rather graphically. They study voluntary motion, picking up something from the table. They say we're beginning to understand the puppet and the strings, but we don't know anything about the puppeteer. We simply can't ask serious questions even about where it's coming from, what's going on. Now, there are dogmas about this in the sciences and philosophy. It's claimed that it's all, determined by physical law and so on. Actually, nobody believes that, whatever they say. But whatever you want to argue about that, the fact is nothing is understood about it. It's a crucial problem, and not the only one. So, for example, if you look at the words of natural language, simple words, tree, table, house, river, whatever, and you begin to look at them and think about their meaning carefully, turns out they have very complex and intricate meanings. This was actually thought about in classical Greece and in early modern philosophy, and that raises very significant questions. How are they acquired by children, virtually without evidence? How did they evolve? Complete mysteries. Then if you turn to the core computational side of language, what Descartes pointed to and Galileo described and so on, how do we have this capacity to create, use, comprehend an unbounded number of structured expressions, which is nothing like it anywhere in the animal world? Where does that come from? What's its nature, and so on? I think these are really pretty deep questions, which lead in all sorts of directions, including to the kinds of questions we were talking about before. So for, again, Adam Smith and many of his contemporaries, the core of human nature is a kind of creative need which must be encouraged and developed in any decently functioning society, and any interference with it is illegitimate. That's the source of authentic libertarianism, which is very different from Friedman's type. Authentic libertarianism. I think it reveals itself in the modern age, mostly in the anarchist tradition, left anarchist tradition.